Okay, going into storm season here in Ohio, you're probably going to hear a lot about insurance claims. A contractor may knock on your door and tell you to file an insurance claim, but I want you to know a few things about your policy before you go ahead and move forward with that. Okay, so what do you need to know before you file an insurance claim? And this is related to a property claim, likely exterior, something caused by storm, roofing, siding, gutters, and so forth. So you definitely want to know your agent. You need someone possibly local, hopefully that you've worked with before, that you know you can hear back from quickly, that you know, that you like, and that you trust, that has walked you through your policy when you got it, who likely checks in every year to make sure that you don't have any increased risk or exposure from an addition or a pool or a trampoline or whatever. So make sure you know your agent. Make sure you can get back from your agent. Make sure that you trust them to give you a policy that's really going to be best for you and that they're not missing things that they might not know about. So now that you know your agent, and if you don't, please reach out to us. We have a long list of trusted insurance referral partners that we would love to connect you with and make sure that you're properly covered. Okay, so if you do not call us, let us know right away. But if you do, now you're going to call your agent and you're going to ask a few questions about your policy so that you know exactly what is going to be covered and what's not going to be covered if you file a claim. We've had a lot of people file claims when we either find out on the front end or we find out on the back end that they have an ACV policy, meaning their depreciation is non-recoverable, meaning that they're going to be responsible for their deductible as well as all that depreciation, all that value lost over time. So where they think they're going to pay $1,000, they might end up having to pay $5,000, $6,000. Hey, they weren't prepared for that. The contractor told them, don't worry, you'll only pay your deductible because their contractor didn't walk them through these questions to ask their agent. Okay, so you want to know what kind of coverage you have, whether you have an ACV policy or an RCV policy, meaning RCV, replacement cost value, means your depreciation is recoverable. Once you get the work done, you can now get that money on the back end to pay the contractor. And then RPS policies, State Farm and Allstate are notorious for these. They're basically an ACV policy disguised as an RCV policy, where as time goes on, you're responsible for more and more of this roof payment schedule. Okay, so that's a tricky one. Make sure you know what you have. And if you have one of these bad ones, ACV or RPS, talk to your agent about switching, and if they're not willing to help you, talk to us about getting a new agent. Okay? Any other questions on these, please reach out. You want to know your deductible amount. Sometimes it's a flat dollar amount, $500, $1,000, $1,500. Sometimes it's a percentage of the property value. 0.5% of the property value can be quite a bit. And sometimes it's a separate deductible if it's a wind or hail claim. So you want to know if you're going into it, yeah, I have a $500 deductible. However, it's $2,500 on a wind or hail claim. You want to know what you're going to end up paying. You want to know what kind of code coverage you have. Usually this is going to be some type of cap out where you'll have $10,000 of code coverage or $30,000 of code coverage. And you want to know before you file a claim, what's out of code? What am I going to have to do to bring this property up to code if we replace the roof? Is it going to be a full redeck that's going to cost $20,000 that the insurance company is only going to pay $10,000 of? Do you have $50,000 coverage? You don't need to worry about it. It'll cover the ice and water shield, drip edge, decking. You want to know what you've got. And then any exclusions. This can range from, rot, age, deterioration over time. Sometimes there's mold exclusions. So if, say, there's mold on the underside of your decking from improper ventilation, that might be excluded from being remediated. So make sure you know what kind of exclusions you have. And then these two, if you have a recent storm date, you probably don't need to worry about it. But if you're working off an old hail claim or wind claim, hey, we had hail last June and my contractor just pointed it out to me, we're coming up on a 1-year mark from that. So you want to know, is there any penalty for late filing, which usually kicks in at a year, sometimes 6 months, depending on your policy. Talk to your agent. Say, hey, I had a storm a year ago. Is there any consequence for late filing on that? Is the depreciation still recoverable? Which is usually the trick where, yeah, you can still file, but you're only going to get the ACV portion. So any of this doesn't make sense, I know it's a lot of information, I know it's pretty technical, please reach out to us. We love to help. We want to make sure our community is well educated and you guys know what you got before you file a claim. So let us know. Thanks. Have a great weekend.